You're listening to the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. Or are you, Aaron?
Oh, boy.
Or are you?
Come on, Dave. Be professional.
This is a biracial American history podcast. Now, each week, I, man with knees, lover of all dogs, sometimes roller on the grass.
What are you doing?
Dave Anthony.
What's your problem?
Reads a story from American history
family.
to his nemesis.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about, and I'm not your nemesis. Stop saying that.
You don't get to choose.
I do too.
You don't get to choose if you're my nemesis. I choose my nemesis.
I just think it's a weird choice.
Really?
Yes, it's a very weird choice.
You think about all the shit you've put me through?
What have I done to you?
And called it, quote, his jam pad.
Jam pad?
I'm the fucking hippo guy!
Dave, okay.
My name's Gary.
My name's Gary. Wait.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tiggly podcast.
Okay.
This is like anarchy!
On a 5-part coefficient.
My room is playing!
Now hit him with the puppy. You both present sick arguments.
No sleep till hippo!
That's like the hippo.
Action part.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
Roder in the court.
Yes, so what are your dates?
September 12th at 10 p.m. we'll be at the West Side Comedy Theater. And then we have shows this weekend, right, Dave?
Yeah, we'll be in Sacramento on Friday, and we'll be in Boise on Saturday. We'll be in Madison on October 18th and Milwaukee on October 20th.
September 28th at 10 p.m. I'll be at the main room in Flappers, or at Flappers, and then there's one other one.
Is there?
This should be.
Seattle?
No.
We're going to be in Europe. We're going to be in Stockholm, Oslo, Amsterdam, Glasgow, Manchester, London, Birmingham, Cardiff, Dublin, and Copenhagen. Might be a couple shows being added.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, everybody?
Yeah.
October 2nd, I'll be at the Venice Underground in Venice, California.
Hey, you made it to Venice.
Yeah, sure did. It's a big deal. It's huge. I got on the 10 and I was like, I'm here. It's crazy. Thank you for your support. We should also mention that we have a 10-parter Dollop episodes called The Dollop, England and the UK, which is, their stories are pretty insane. If you guys like Dollop episodes that are insane,
Those are the ones. England ones.
Yeah.
So we are brought to you by Liquid IV. Liquid IV is the fastest, most efficient way to stay hydrated. You trying to drink more water? Liquid IV hydrates you 2 to 3 times faster and more efficiently than water alone, with an added bonus of vitamin C, B3, B5, B6, and B12. A lot of the Bs.
I take a lot of the Bs.
Yeah.
A lot of the Bs. I take those when I travel. I think they're very good to hydrate after a flight.
I got to say, the last time I traveled internationally, I took these, and I feel like it made a huge difference.
They do.
Liquid IV prevents jet lag when traveling.
Well, there we go. I didn't know that was coming.
TSA friendly and is perfect for on-the-go travelers. Helps to keep your skin hydrated while flying. Can be used before, during, after flights. So, you didn't know that was coming, and there it was. I've been using it a lot. I've been working out a lot, so I've been drinking. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I do too, yeah.
It's the fastest growing wellness brand. You can find them everywhere, even Costco. You can find their hydration multiplier sold at Costco's nationwide. Non-GMO, vegan, free of gluten, dairy, and soy, clean ingredients. Healthy alternative to traditional sugary sports drinks. No artificial flavors or preservatives. Hear that? Traditional sports drinks. Right in your hole. Drink hole?
Don't try.
Convenient. As we said, TSA friendly power packs for travel. Helps with jet lag. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I've been using it, and I've used it a lot.
Dave, they're in my suitcase.
Someone was like, "Hey, you guys shouldn't be selling a product, advertising a product that actually people use as IVs." And I had to say, no, it's the name.
Yeah.
We're not actually telling people.
We're not suggesting that this goes into your veins. That's not been suggested.
I was like, no, it's a drink.
Yeah, it's a drink for your blood.
I love Liquid IV, and I know you will too. Right now, our listeners get 25% off at liquidiv.com when you use our code Dollop at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Go to liquidiv.com, enter our promo code Dollop to get your savings and start getting better hydration. That's liquidiv.com, promo code Dollop. Don't wait. Start properly hydrating today. We also brought to you by Fabfitfun.
Mm-hmm.
Fabfitfun box time. Is that the song?
I don't think they have a song, and I know they don't now.
Fabfitfun is a women's lifestyle subscription box with full-size, premium beauty, lifestyle, fitness, home, and wellness products sent straight to your doorstep each season. They take the hassle out of shopping by doing it for you. Each box is customized for your specific interests, and they deliver the seasonal must-haves that you need. My wife loves it. My wife's a huge fan.
I'm starting to just love it.
She takes it and squirrels it away, and I don't see it.
Yep.
Now. I don't see it anymore. There's private unpacking. Mm-hmm. I'm not allowed around.
There's a room. She does it under a sheet. Heather, what's going on?
The boxes sell out fast, so you should sign up today. So it's really great. So they also help support female-founded companies and charities. A lot of the products in the box are from female-founded companies, and each season, FabFitFun partners with a nonprofit to raise funds and awareness. Look,
It's
they
for
got
Fabfitfun box.
that's right. They got a lot of great products. It's not like sample size stuff. It's real size. It's actual, like true.
No, well, what is it? It's like
products.
It's like $250 worth of stuff, and you get it for whatever. It's crazy.
That was a really good.
Well, yeah, I don't know the actual numbers. I don't have the thing in front of me.
I do, but I don't see it. Anyway, yeah, it's like $100
More money
worth of value. You're getting it for your,
and it's true.
It has a retail value over $200. You're getting it for $49.99. I mean, that's right there. Be happy. Be happy.
Thank you.
Have fun with it. I'm telling you, my wife got a shawl and I wear it.
Yeah, my wife too.
Just the shawl.
She wears the shawl all the time.
I wear your wife's shawl.
I know. If she was real, she'd be furious.
Oh, I'm furious.
Yeah.
It's also, guys, it's a great gift thing for your lady also. FabFitFun is a seasonal subscription box with a full-size beauty, fitness, fashion, and lifestyle products. It retails for $49.99, but always has a value over $200.
That's the bit I was saying about.
That's it. Use code Dollop for $10 off your first box at www.fabfitfun.com. That's $10 off your first box. Use code Dollop and go to www.fabfitfun.com.
Boom.
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 We did it. We made it all happen. Guys, we are also brought to you by ZipRecruiter.
And ZipRecorder.
And ZipRecorder. Guys, we also are brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Hiring can be a very slow process. Take Altura's COO, Dylan Miskowitz. He needed to hire a director of coffee for his organic coffee company, but he was having trouble finding qualified applicants. So he switched to ZipRecruiter. And ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its technology identifies people with the right experience and invites them to apply it to your job so you get qualified candidates first. Dylan posted his job on ZipRecruiter, and he was impressed by how quickly he had great candidates apply. He also used ZipRecruiter's candidate rating feature to filter his applicants so he could focus on the most relevant ones. And that's how Dylan found his new director of coffee in just a few days.
There you go.
With results like that, it's no wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Boom.
I didn't even know there was a director of coffee. There's things we learn all the time.
There you go. There's the director of coffee.
It's not something I don't even drink coffee, so I'm not going to be on that list.
Well,
if there's a director of iced tea, guess who's there?
No, nobody cares.
There should be a director of iced tea.
It's just, it doesn't matter.
But I want that job now.
But this is about him.
I know. See why ZipRecruiter is effective for businesses of all sizes. Try ZipRecruiter for free at our web address, ZipRecruiter.com/Dollop. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Dollop. DOLLOP. ZipRecruiter.com/Dollop. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And then I might hire you at some point.
I'm looking for it. Okay. I would love to leave the intern role.
We'll see.
Okay.
But when I put that up on ZipRecruiter, just make sure that you're
I will be
site,
very ready with my resume.
Yeah. Resume?
My resume.
We are also brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace, of course, is a company that helps you build a beautiful website. They host it. They got all the templates. It's all happening over there. We both use it for our personal websites, our comedy websites. We use it for our sources. We use it for our regular website. We use it. That's it. That's all the websites we have.
All of the websites in our lives.
I don't think we have any other websites. So they're all with Squarespace. So you can turn a cool idea into a website. You can showcase your work. You can blog or publish content. You can sell products and services of all kinds. Promote your physical online business. Look, we got beautiful templates. Like I said, you want to go in there. You want to build a nice website. You want to see how it feels. Get in there. Do it. Check it out. Ours is beautiful. Beautiful.
Relax.
He has the ability to customize look and feel, settings, products, and more with just a few clicks. It's a new way to buy domains and choose from over 200 extensions. Got analytics, built-in search engine optimization, free and secure hosting, 24/7 award-winning support. I'm telling you, you got to get it.
I'm in.
Even if you don't want a website, I'm telling you to get a Squarespace website.
It would be a weird move, but I think make it.
So check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code Dollop to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com. Enter code Dollop. Who named this podcast?
You named it.
Really?
That's right. I just showed up to your garage one day and you were like,
I'm sorry.
we're going to do the dollop.
I just apologize to everybody. Look, we don't always make great choices in life. You know what I mean?
feel like it was a good move.
Calling it the Dollop?
Yeah. Why?
What about History Time?
That's good.
Dave and what's your name?
Gareth.
Gareth with Dave and Gareth.
Your nemesis.
Oh, that's right. Sometimes you forget your nemesis, like
Yeah,
it just slips
it's
out of
me.
your brain. 1786
Okay.
or 1792,
All right.
somewhere in there.
Okay.
Marie Aioe was born into the Iowa tribe,
Okay.
possibly in St. Louis, in the Missouri area there.
Sure.
When she was still a teenager, she married Pierre Dorion Jr.
Okay.
Pierre was the son of the French interpreter.
Oh, Dave. You know which one I want it to be. Oh, that's right. They bought it. Gentlemen, they bought it again.
The French interpreter who traveled with Lewis and Clark on their expedition.
Uh-huh.
So, Pierre Sr. was French Creole.
I'm starting to worry that he's not French. What is the worry? What, too big? Too small? What are you after? Huh? Me, not French. I'm an interpreter, for God's sake.
Pierre Sr. was French Creole, a descendant of the Acadians, who we met in a previous episode. He traveled the western frontier and spent time with different Native American tribes. He married a Sioux woman, and they had children, one of whom was Pierre Jr. So Irving, I should say the name, Washington Irving, wrote a lot of this.
Okay.
So he wrote that father and son would sometimes drink together and then get in fights when they got older, not when he was
Sure, not
a
when
baby.
Well, would not surprise me anyway.
Pierre Jr. often won those fights.
Okay.
If you can beat a real man, that's cool. And,
Yeah.
And,
Well, you don't have that addiction to alcohol that he has, so you can just get a buzz
That's
going,
right.
whereas he's like, I need to not remember this.
Pierre Jr. Grew up, married a woman from the Yankton tribe named Holy Rainbow.
Nice. All right.
That name came from, that's like the guy that saw the double rainbow. Holy Rainbow.
That guy.
That guy's the best.
The best.
Double rainbow guy.
And the best part, I think, is I believe at one point he thinks it might be a triple rainbow.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's
He does.
a fleeting moment.
There's a second there.
It's almost a triple, it's more of a double.
So then Pierre Jr. abandoned Holy Rainbow. He was out.
Okay.
She was out of him. His second wife, he married again, Marie. She was about 5 feet 5 inches tall, kind and very patient. They had 2 sons, Jean-Baptiste and Paul. Very French.
Sure, yeah.
Pierre was looking for work as a guide or interpreter,
Or
just like his dad.
an impersonator.
Or impersonator.
Right.
John Jacob Astor wanted to establish a fur trading post at the mouth of the Columbia River.
Okay.
Astor had made a fortune from killing animals for their fur around the Great Lakes.
Awesome.
Well, I put that part in, but that's what it is.
That's great.
Yeah. So he was just doing like a apocalypse of beavers.
It's very cool.
Now he wanted to do the same thing on the coast of Oregon.
Great.
And hoped to control the fur trade with Asia.
Okay.
It's great.
Right.
You can send animals' skin over to another country.
Fantastic.
The expedition Pierre got a job on was to identify locations for fur trading posts. So Astor created the Pacific Fur Company in June 1810. He managed the business from New York, and he sent 2 groups out west. One by sea on the ship Tonkin with supplies and people to start trading, and then another group were to go by land and set up fur posts on the way, and then they would meet at the place the boat guys had set up.
Okay. I want the boat job.
I'd be the
out of
boat guys.
two.
I want to be
for
boat
sure.
guys for sure.
Be
Boat
turning into a
guys
booze cruise
all day long.
Yeah. Just
Yep.
got one fur trading post to worry about.
Yep.
Yeah.
The expedition left St. Louis and was led by Wilson Hunt, who had 0 experience traveling in the wilderness
But his name's Hunt.
or trading with Native Americans.
He's got to know.
He's-
It's just a gut thing. It's a family thing.
Yeah,
You
'cause-
wouldn't understand. You're an Anthony.
I
This is
know.
a
I
Hunt.
don't know.
This guy, he's like a bloodhound.
My name doesn't.
You
mean
get him out
anything.
there, and he's just like,
and he knows the
it's
wild.
a sixth sense.
Yeah.
He's like a wolf boy.
Yeah.
He just gets out there, and all of a sudden, he's,
So you don't need like any experience or knowledge or anything.
it's
about
like
being,
my last name, Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can deal with leftovers better. And I didn't know that when I had the name. It was just when someone was like, "Oh, we're going to toss this quiche." I go, "You don't need to toss it." And I put a bunch of foil around the thing that it was in, and then I put it in the fridge. And then you know what happened 2 days later?
What?
It's a miracle.
What?
They ate more of the quiche.
Wow.
It's like the oil
Sometimes-
with Hanukkah.
I don't know. Sometimes the stories are bad.
The one, well, you got to write a lot of these. It's not your fault.
Pierre was picked because he was good at business. I mean, Hunt was picked because he was good at business.
Okay.
That's the guy
So
you want leading.
They picked him to go.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
And Hunt was only 29 years old. So this is the guy.
Yeah, young and experienced. He's got a business mind. Get him near trees.
Graduated from Dartmouth.
Perfect.
He's ready
This
to
is
go.
the guy. Yeah, let him be the one who tells you how to build a shelter.
So the main trading post at the fork of the Missouri River was continually harassed by Blackfeet. So much so that the commander, Mr. Henry, had to abandon the posts, cross the Rocky Mountains in order to set up a new trading post along the Columbia River. Nobody knew what had become of him. Right?
Okay.
So he was working for that's the rival trading company. There's 2 trading companies.
Okay.
So
The first one is the Pacific Fur Company.
that's the one that they're going to set up.
right. And his one is which one?
This is Mr. Henry.
Okay.
And Mr. Henry has set up. I think it's the British Fur Company. It doesn't matter because they don't end up being around very much.
Okay.
But it's a rival company.
Sure.
And so this guy set up a fort, and then the natives were like, "Hey, what if you're not here?"
Uh-huh.
And he bails.
Right.
No one knows where he went.
Okay.
So the worry was that he'd been killed by Native Americans.
Sure.
So Hunt arrives in St. Louis.
It would be great if, like, in the pelts, they just saw Hunt's skin. Oh, dear Lord. Well, I think we found Hunt.
Just a face.
Just trading him.
Some guys just go wearing it over like a shawl.
I'll tell you, this thing really keeps the warmth in. I don't know what's going on. And then it's got this hood feature.
Oh God, that's Hunt.
Yeah, no, I am aware. But if you see, we've cut this jaw out, so it's kind of like a hoodie. Hey, watch this.
Hey, I'll lead the expedition through the woods. I'm a businessman. I know everything.
I'm just kidding. It's still me under here. But
I like it. It will take 10.
yeah. Well, unfortunately,
Oh God, what did I do? What did I do?
that's a
Larry, run!
Hey, it's me, Larry. I'm kidding. It's me again. Hey, Larry's been dead for a week.
So Hunt arrives in St. Louis. Henry worked for the Missouri Fur Trading Company. That's the rival. Pacific Fur Trading Company, Missouri.
Okay.
They're both just killing animals.
Sure, it's great.
Doing stuff,
Right.
selling it. It's cool that you can just go out in nature and kill something and sell it.
Well, because it's yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like it belongs to nature. It belongs
No,
to
no.
you because you found it and you got to kill it.
No, treat it like a shopping spree. Take
That's
everything, leave a husk.
That's right. Hunt is preparing an expedition, and also another man for the Missouri Fur Trading Company is preparing an expedition, Mr. Manuel Lisa.
Okay, Mr. Lisa.
That's right. And he's going to go look for Mr. Henry.
Okay.
It was very unusual for there to be 2 expeditions at the same time, but, let competitors be competing, right?
And they're both going to set up trading posts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the same area. Like
Right.
One is going where Mr. Henry fled, and the other one is going there with the purpose.
Right.
So it caused a big demand for hunters and explorers who worked the competing situation
Sure.
for higher pay and advances. Quote, the greatest difficulty was to find a Sioux interpreter. There was one man at St. Louis, a half-breed named Pierre Dorion.
Okay.
There's our boy.
Yeah.
Pierre had worked for...
Nice that he's called a half-breed. It's class.
I had to cut out a lot of that. But
I'm shocked.
It was fucking endless.
I found the literature of the past to be quite sensitive.
Every time there's a quote, it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. He had a...
And what that means...
Pierre had worked for the Missouri Fur Company the year before and was a good employee when sober.
Sure. Okay. So the fights with Dad, the drunk fights...
They paid off.
Sure.
But he liked to drink a lot, and when he did, his bad side came out.
I feel like
Bad Pierre.
Potentially a bad hire.
Quote.
Oh, no, it's Bad Pierre. What did you want to say to me?
Fuck you. Quote, while working for the Missouri Company on the frontier, he had been seized with a whiskey mania.
By the way,
something you hear a lot.
And it's time to change the name Blackout to Whiskey Mania. You blacked out at the wedding. I didn't black out. I had Whiskey Mania.
I mean, that's what we should start a new podcast.
Whiskey Mania.
We just drink whiskey?
Sure.
Oh, my God. And since
That'll be history time.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And since the beverage could only be
It'll
bought...
be great when we rip off our own podcast.
Well, then we'd be ripping off Drunk History.
Right.
Which is a great podcast for people who had alcoholic parents to watch.
Right.
And since the beverage could only be brought at the company's store, it had been charged to his account at the rate of $10 a quart.
Okay.
So it's a company store whiskey. He likes to drink. He's been running up a tab.
So he's just running. He's drinking. Okay.
$10 a quart.
That's a lot.
His debt was not paid, and this became a heated disagreement because he no longer works for the company.
Right.
Just the mention of the dispute sent Pierre into a rage.
Okay. So he's sensitive about his drinking problem, essentially.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Mr. Lisa's threats over the whiskey debt drove Pierre to work for the rival Pacific Fur Trading Company and Mr. Hunt.
It's interesting when your job decision-making is based on whiskey access.
And whiskey debt.
And whiskey debt. And the debt you previously worked up.
He negotiated a very good deal with Mr. Hunt, $300 per year, $200 to be paid in advance.
Okay.
Pierre now had a job as a guide and interpreter heading to the Pacific coast. It ran in the family as his dad had worked for Lewis and Clark, as I said. But just when Hunt's group was about to leave St. Louis, 5 American hunters arrived and alleged they had been treated poorly by Astor's company.
Okay.
They refused to travel with Mr. Hunt and told all the others about the suffering and dangers they had faced on their expedition. This caused all the hunters who had signed on with Hunt to panic.
Okay. I sniffed some theatrics.
Well, then he had to pay them all more.
Okay. Oh, well, here we go. Right.
So they all go, but the first one...
Well, once you get down the river, y'all going to have to pass the Cerebus.
What?
The Cerebus.
Cerebus?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
It's like a 3-headed dog, but it's got riddles. She'll ask riddles.
It asks riddles?
Yeah.
It's a 3-headed dog that asks riddles.
That's right.
And it's down the river?
Down by the river, yeah. And if you get past... What?
Down by the river?
Yeah. And if you get past that, you got to have sex with the fish man. He's half man, half fish. But it's not in the way where you'd picture him to be like a merman or something, where he's got like half of his bottom. It's like every 4 inches is scale or skin, and it keeps alternating. It looks like zebra stripes. So you get past Cerebus with riddle.
What about
right?
the part...
Then you got to go to Fishman. You have sex with Fishman.
Okay, but does Fishman have a part? Or
Fishman has all the parts. Okay. He's got fish and man parts.
Okay.
So you figure out, my advice would be go,
Did you have sex with Fishman?
I have had sex with Fishman, not this one.
So there's other fishmen out there.
I'm a regular traveler. I go through a lot of this.
We've never heard anything about this.
Well,
particularly
it's crazy. But then once you get past Fishman, you know what you got to do?
What?
Spend a night in the haunted drawer.
Okay. So we're just going to take off. We're not really buying the whole thing anymore. Like,
All right.
sometimes you
How
take
about
it
this?
too far.
Give me $50.
Why don't you tell me this? Where's the haunted drawer? Is it in Wyoming? Like, where's the haunted drawer?
It's in Wyoming.
Is it like comes out of the side of a mountain? Like, how does the haunted drawer work?
Comes out the side of a mountain.
And then what happens?
What's your next guess?
And then you get in it?
That's right.
And then someone closes the drawer and then you're in the mountain?
Yeah. And you spend a night in it. But
And
it ain't a
then-
regular night.
No, why not?
Well, you're in a drawer in the mountain, stupid. What's with this guy? I don't think he's ready to lead y'all.
Okay. So, look, I'm a businessman and I know bullshitters and I think you're full of shit. I don't think there's a three-headed dog. I don't think there's a fish guy with a dick.
You don't think there's a fish man?
And I definitely don't think there's a drawer.
A haunted drawer, not just a drawer.
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
well, more power to you, mister.
All right.
Good luck.
See you later,
See you later.
clown face. There are clown faces and you have one.
I know.
Boom. That's hardcore. I'm really getting at you.
Yeah.
Clown face.
All right.
So, anyway, that
Are you leaving? Or?
I just don't know what to do now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll walk this way then.
Okay.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Okay. Sorry. I thought the bit was over and then I was still here, so I didn't even know. I'll see you later. All right.
So Pierre made a deal. He would get on the boat, and he was the first guy to make a deal, if Mr. Hunt agreed to let him take his wife Marie and their 2 kids,
Okay.
who were like 2 and 5, I think.
Great. Perfect age to pass away on a boat.
That's what, yeah. Like she must have been like, wait, no, how's that the deal?
I figured it out. You can come with us.
I like to have sex when I'm out hunting and doing stuff. When I'm traveling dangerous mountains and through horrible streams and fighting bears, every once in a while, I want to fuck.
Plus, my whiskey mania kicks in.
Quote, the evening after they left, the fur expedition, so all the other guys signed back on, learned that a warrant had been issued against Pierre Dorion for his whiskey debt.
Boy, this whiskey is really chasing him.
And Mr. Lisa intended to entrap the interpreter upriver at St. Charles. So Pierre heard about the warrant on the way up on the boat, and he takes off. They let him off the boat. He takes his family, gets off, and he heads into the forest.
Well, and again, for the family, probably cool. For the family, probably exciting to know that the original plan that was a little off kilter has now been thrown out the window, and now it's just time to get off the boat and run into the middle of the forest with your 2-year-old.
Yeah, it's not. Look, I
It's
feel like
pretty cool.
I feel like he's not the best family man.
It's like accidental camping. Who doesn't want to do that?
It's it's like accidental camping.
Yeah.
So he takes off, and the boat, Hunt's boat goes on.
And probably, again, a really good feeling for the wife.
And she's loving this.
She's like
it's
the boat's
a
gone. It's official. We're just here.
it's
He's
like-
got no plan. He had no plan.
Total freedom.
And we're doing this because he drank too much whiskey.
That's right.
We're in the woods now because of his whiskey drinking. We've ended up in the middle of the woods with our children because he caused the whiskey debt so high, they're going to entrap him.
Marie was, quote, laden with their papooses and a large bundle containing their most precious effects, promising they would rejoin them some distance later. The expedition party reached St. Charles in the afternoon. Of course, Pierre was not on board.
Right.
The lawmen did not find Pierre in St. Charles. The boats continued the next morning. They had not gone far when Pierre appeared on the shore.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Alone.
We ate the middle one.
Alone.
Oh, boy.
They took him back on board, and apparently things had not gone well with his wife while they were out in the woods.
Now, Dave, let me tell you a place where you're not allowed to tell your wife or your children that they're stressing you out a little bit and leave them is when you're in the forest on a whiskey run.
Okay, go ahead.
When you're basically
Kind of hear you, but I kind of don't. You know
on the
what I mean?
whiskey lamb and you're abandoned your family because they're probably annoying you about what you've done.
Look, you're out there, and they're like, I want food, and I'm cold.
Yeah. And you're just like, shut up.
So what had happened was they had gotten into a fight. Probably because she didn't want to be out in the woods.
She
all
was
alone.
probably sore about having to get off the boat and go to the woods.
So what happened was he, quote, they had a quarrel in the night. Pierre had administered the Indian discipline of the cudgel, which means he beat her with some sort of stick. She didn't dig that, and she took off into the woods with their kids and all their stuff.
Oh my God!
Turns out she didn't like that.
Yeah.
Pierre apparently felt
Think about how big of a douchebag you have to be for
your
them
wife
be
to
like,
run off in the forest.
All right, we're gonna go this way.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, maybe we'll find a better husband.
I didn't look up if that's like a real thing, but I've never heard of that with Native Americans. I'm sure it was just him being a fucking douchebag.
Right.
Although there is right here something called the burl cudgel, but who knows? So Pierre feels terrible, as every fucking jackass who hits his wife does.
Sure.
Oh, now I feel bad. He's upset she's gone. She also took his knapsack, which was upsetting too.
Sure.
But Hunt could not wait for a marital issue to resolve, and they moved on.
And they take Pierre and they move on.
Yeah.
Right.
That night, Pierre.
They just leave his wife and
Well,
children.
there's nothing because they don't know if she's ever going to come back. You know, they can't. You know, I don't know. The time is money, right?
Sure.
That night, Pierre said he slept terribly, upset by what he had done. But before sunrise, he heard Marie calling from the shore. Marie had been wandering in the woods all night looking for the party, and she eventually found them because of their fires. The expedition continued on. As she got on the boat, the expedition continued on, but there were very heavy rains, making it slow and dangerous. So the party continued to grow as other boat crews joined them. So by April, there were 26 people. That part I don't really understand, but I guess that's what it's like on the river out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, there's a bunch of water hitchhikers.
You just roll up and guys, can we go on your expedition to kill beavers?
Yeah. Come on.
We're just out here floating around in the middle
that's
of nowhere.
crazy.
Yeah,
Get on here.
Yeah, this is normal. We're normal.
That's
we're normal
great.
guys.
I
just
trust you.
looking to hook up with some other guys.
Hey, we're all here having a good old time, my man.
Out on a boat. We're not going to kill you at night.
No.
Why would we do that? We kill beavers.
Sure.
We're not going to hit you in the head and drop you off the side of the boat any chance we get.
Hey,
That's no way.
We're not too worried up here. I'll tell you that much. This guy left his wife and kid in the forest for 2 days, so we're
Good
not
on you.
We're not the best either. I don't think
Yeah.
you should compliment him on that, but
Okay.
get on here, boys.
I don't know how things work.
Let me show you where we put most of the valuables. It's right here in the
Oh,
middle.
hey,
a lot of
look
the
at
stuff
that.
is here.
Look at
Keep a
that.
lot of the stuff here. Weapons.
I like visualize me hitting you with a club right above your eye.
Well, that reminds me. This is where we keep the clubs.
Oh, okay.
And they come in various sizes. You got small, you got medium, you got
Great,
large. These
great.
are bigger
I'm
ones.
going to watch you bleed.
Yeah, you can do that, and
Yeah.
then here's rags, clean up the murder, whatever it is, whatever you're into.
Leave you to the fish man.
Sure, however you guys feel like doing it. It's just nice to have company.
Fish man gonna hump you.
Yeah,
That's how fish babies are made.
Sure. Oh, okay. More of the fish guy stuff. Well, whatever.
So they found a friendly Native American village. There they were given meals and a party was held. After the party, they left the next day and a commotion broke out.
Sure.
Turns out Marie enjoyed being at the village and wanted to stay there.
Of course.
Pierre was
Because
not.
you know what had happened?
What?
There's an option B.
Yeah,
And
anything
it's
but
better.
anything but going.
Whatever it is.
Going off. Look, there's no other women on this boat.
Let me tell you
There's
what
25 dudes
here's
and a
what she-
lady.
here's
By the
what
way, great movie.
Oh, God. Terrible. Nightmare. But also, she just chose to go to the forest alone.
She didn't choose.
Well,
she,
yes,
she didn't want to go in the forest alone.
Right. But she chose
when
to
she
walk
ran off
away from him.
Yeah, when she ran off.
So
Yeah,
this is a much more enticing option.
It's
It's
imagine.
other pe-
let's
it's
let's,
other people.
Let's take the wilderness out of this.
Sure.
Let's just go with the 25 dudes and a lady on a boat.
Yes.
You're out.
Yes.
As a lady, you're out.
Yes.
So,
Yes. You're entire. I mean, you're just getting eye fucked all day by these.
yeah,
lunatics.
she wants to stay with these nice Native American people
Yes.
she just met.
Yes.
And Pierre was not down with that, and he forced her on the boat. He was possibly a little drunk when he did it, as we assume. She probably didn't want to make the trip because it turns out she was 3 months pregnant.
Oh God. Oh my God.
What, you don't want to go off into the forest when you're 3 months pregnant?
Ugh. This whole thing.
Around this time, the ship Astor had sent, right? The
Yep.
other by sea. the Tonkin arrived and established the trading post Astoria on Point George on the southern shore of the Columbia.
Okay.
So everything's going according to plan over there,
Sure.
right? But soon after, the captain of the ship, who everyone fucking hated, everybody hates the captain,
Sure.
took the ship on a trading mission to Vancouver. I mentioned everyone hates the captain, right? The
Yes.
crew, everybody fucking
Sure.
hates his guts.
Nobody likes the captain.
So he takes the ship after they set up his fort, and he heads up to trade with the Clayoquot people. Now, I think they're in Canada. It's Vancouverish. But they couldn't come to terms over a trade.
Okay.
So Captain Thorne slapped the elder who was doing the trading, the indigenous person who handled the negotiations, with a fur in the face.
Oh boy, that's.
So
I would say I think a bad move, personally.
So it turns out they didn't like that
Uh-huh.
for some reason.
Uh-huh.
And soon there was an attack on the ship. The warriors killed most of the crew. A few survived and ran off, but they were also killed. The next day, the warriors returned to plunder the ship. There was one guy on the ship.
Hey,
Hi!
I just assumed.
So, hey, do you guys want everything?
I'm
alive, James. And I would like to stay alive, James. Anywho, I wish we had an interpreter. I feel weird. So anyway, he lures them onto the ship.
okay.
He lures all these, native guys onto the ship, Salish. And then he lights the gunpowder magazine and blows up the ship. So he lured 200
Oh my God.
Salish natives on and then killed them by blowing up the ship.
Wow.
The only crew member who survived was an interpreter who had relatives among the Clayoquot. So not a great start to the everything.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's not going good either. Now the land expedition looks great.
Right.
In
And that
comparison.
one. And that
one's
one
just
is
got-
terrible.
Yeah. Hunt's party had more men join up, and now they were 60 men. So they're just picking up dudes in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what happens out there.
I mean, you would need to vet someone, wouldn't you? Mildly. I
know
don't
what's
think it's
going
just
on.
about like turning it into a party boat.
5 were partners with Astor. 1 was a clerk. 40 were Canadian voyageurs, hired boatmen, and several were hunters. They were on 4 boats. 1 was large enough to mount a swivel gun and 2 howitzers.
Wow.
So they're going into the forest ready.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not fucking around. They pitched tents at night and told stories and sang songs around campfires.
Great.
That's nice.
Sure.
It's a trip. The party started to rest in a friendly Omaha village. Stayed to rest in a friendly Omaha village. There were then 3 Sioux arrived and warned that another band of Sioux nearby were preparing to attack. The chief of the Omahas returned from hunting and said 2 men had just been killed by a band of Sioux. Obviously, everyone's freaking out now, especially the voyagers, the Canadian voyageurs. I don't know what you want to. I don't know what Canadians call it. Quote: the Canadians pictured to themselves bands of fierce warriors stationed along each bank of the river, by whom they would be shot down in their boats, or lurking hordes who would set on them at night and massacre them in their encampments. Some of the Canadians wanted to turn back around, and 3 deserted into the woods. That's a bad move.
Yeah, this
I never get it. Getting out and going off, because then you have to walk through. There's people who live there. You have to walk
literally
through.
are like,
you got to hope that everyone's like, "Come on through my yard."
you're Guy Fawkes in Jason movies.
You
where
really are.
It's like we don't follow you when you go into the
No.
woods. We find you.
So as they traveled on the boats, many of the Canadians who were now very afraid watched the river's edge, but there were no Sioux. The Canadians still started to worry about an ambush at every turn. Quote, the very name Sioux became a watchword of terror. An elk, a wolf, or any other animal would appear on the hills, and the boats sounded with shouts from end to end. Voilà les Sioux! Voilà les Sioux! They are Sioux. There are Sioux.
Voilà les Sioux! Voilà.
Raccoon, raccoon.
Il est un raccoon.
Little mask.
Petite bandit.
Finally, they did come across a band of hostile Sioux. Quote,
Oh, thank God.
here the swivel gun and howitzers were loaded with powder and fired to let the savages know by the sound how formidably they were armed. The noise echoed along the shores of the river and must have startled the Indian warriors who were only accustomed to the shots of rifles. But the Indians remained and watched them in silence, their painted bodies and faces glaring in the sun and their feathers fluttering in the breeze. When the boats were within rifle range, the hunters prepared to shoot. But there was a confused look on the Native American faces. And they displayed their buffalo robes, raised them with both hands above their heads, and then spread them in front of them on the ground. Pierre Dorion started yelling out not to shoot because this was a sign they were peaceful and wanted to meet.
Okay.
So the Americans came in kind of hot.
Yeah,
The
real
Canadians
hot.
and Americans just rolled in like dickheads.
Yeah.
Unusual.
Yeah.
The Native American warriors lit a fire on the edge of the river and held a peace pipe ceremony.
Okay.
Mr. Hunt then made a speech in French, which Pierre interpreted. Hunt told the Sioux they were not looking to trade with any tribes upriver, but were just tossing the mountains to look for some of their fellow countrymen who had been gone for 11 months. He was lying. He made that all up. They weren't looking for anybody.
Okay.
And he was going to trade with anybody upstream.
I like the idea. I am picturing Pierre drunk every time he interprets now, just for the record.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Hunt ended up giving them tobacco and corn. The Sioux were happy with this.
Delicious combination, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Nothing goes better with a mouthful of corn than a big suck of tobacco.
It's so good. The Sioux were happy.
That's actually vape flavored now.
Is it?
Yeah, tobacco corn.
Wow, that's great. The Sioux were happy with this and said the reason for their hostile gathering was to prevent guns from going to the Arikaras, Mandans, and Minnetarees tribes, whom they were at war with. But now they were like, yeah, go ahead and pass if you're not going to give any stuff.
Right.
Cruise on through. Quote, the white hunters in the expedition group continued to be fearful of wandering in this dangerous neighborhood, and fresh provisions began to be scarce in the camp. Therefore, as a substitute for venison and buffalo meat, the travelers had to purchase a number of dogs to be shot and cooked. Fortunately, the Indians were generous with their dogs.
Great. I mean, everybody wins.
You get a
Well,
nice soup. Well, not the dog.
the dogs lose.
But everyone else wins.
Yeah, everyone else gets
My
that.
tummy full.
Absolutely.
In fact, these animals swarm about an Indian village as they do about a Turkish town. So it's pretty cool to hit two different ethnic groups at once with one
fun.
sentence. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every family has 2 or 3 dozen belonging to it of all sizes and colors. Some of a superior breed are used for hunting, others to draw the sleds, and others
Snack dogs.
of a Mongol breed and an idle vagabond nature are fattened for food.
Eating dogs.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you got the quality.
Sure, you got your good
The
dogs.
husky,
Right.
and then you got like a nice one for the sleds.
Yeah,
and then
and
you
then
got
you
the
got your
eaters.
eat dogs.
The
Yeah,
eaters.
right.
It's
awesome.
They came across another tribe who were very happy that the white men wanted to trade, and they promised to provide beaver skins. So now
We're
they're-
actually just here for more dog. We really have gotten a taste for shit.
Oh my
dog.
God, we've gotten so into dogs.
Do you have any scrappers?
During one evening, Pierre and 2 hunters went missing and did not return by sunrise. The group thought they had wandered off after buffalo and were not that concerned because they knew they would easily be able to track the party. They left a fire burning to guide the 3 men, and they headed out. And then it began to rain, and a general gloom came over the men. Now they're worried that they lost their guys. The Canadians sat in groups, smoking and muttering. And then they heard the shouts as Pierre and the 2 other men arrived back. Quote, they came slowly, lagging into camp with wary looks. In their hunting excursion on the prairies, they had pushed so far in pursuit of buffalo and found it impossible to retrace their steps over the plains.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like.
that's probably one of those things where you're just assuming. I mean, essentially what it is it's like history's parking garage. It's like, you're not focused on anything other than the mission, and then all of a sudden when the mission is over or incomplete and it's time to call it, you're like, what floor and number? I remember nothing. How did I get here?
Even Marie was happy to see Pierre.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. So they moved on. After a few days, they said a group of warriors. They saw a group of warriors coming over a bank and gathering on the shore. It was a war party. They were armed with bows and arrows and battle clubs, and their bodies painted black and white stripes. Mr. Hunt's boat was in front and the closest, but it passed near them without any problems. Then all the warriors ran along the bank until they were opposite to the boats, and they threw aside their weapons and waded in to the boats and surrounded the boats. And then they reached out to shake hands because they knew this is how the white man liked to show they were friends.
Oh wow,
It's
jeez.
so fucking weird.
But yeah, it is
Hey!
like every introduction or every
You have
moment
no
when
idea.
these two sides are coming. It's
Yeah,
like
you have
just
no idea.
You're like, what are we doing here? Are we murdering each other? Are we trading? What's the deal? What's happening?
I mean,
We were hoping to trade and murder. Is that cool?
they.
We're gonna want to do a furder. Give you some
Jesus, I
fur
didn't know
murder
that.
people.
But the Native Americans went over the top with the handshaking. Quote, they carried it to an extreme.
All right, that's enough,
Okay,
gentlemen.
guys,
That's
fellas.
enough, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're good with
That's
that.
enough, gentlemen.
It's like one or
That's
two
enough,
pumps.
gentlemen.
1 or 2 pumps, then we move on.
That's enough. All right,
Holy
I've shaken
fuck.
your hand 4 to 5 times.
This
You
is officially a
specifically.
workout.
All right, my arms are hurting.
So they're obviously not worried about these guys. It turned out to be a war party of the.
Unless that was their plan. Their plan
Oh, to lure
was
them
to
in.
slowly go over there and tire their
mean,
arms out by shaking them
not
until
a
the
bad-
next morning they're so sore and
Yeah,
weakened that
and
they
you
can be
just-
taken advantage of.
just cut their
They-
arms
well,
right
yeah, or you just cut anything off. They won't be able to move their arms.
Yeah. So it turns out this was a war party of Arikaras, Mandans, and Minataries, 300 warriors who were fighting the Sioux. Remember the Sioux they met? They said,
Yeah.
we're going to give them weapons.
Yeah.
These are the guys the Sioux are fighting.
Okay.
The same tribes Hunt had promised the Sioux he wouldn't trade with, and then he traded with them.
Of course.
The chief said they had to have something to prove. They had met the white man, and Hunt gave them a cask of gunpowder, a bag of bullets, and 3 dozen knives.
By the way, imagine a time in history
Yeah.
when Native Americans say they want proof that the white man was there. Not
Very early on.
very early in relations.
Chief was super happy with all this. And now Mr. Lisa's group from the rival fur company caught up, and the two parties camped about 100 yards apart.
Awkward.
Lisa wanted them to travel together. Mr. Lisa invited Pierre to dine on his boat,
Okay.
and he gave him whiskey.
Well, that's
He
not
knows.
fair.
He knows who Pierre
That's
is.
not fair.
He
Don't get
knows
the
what-
gremlin wet. You know the
So,
deal.
When Mr. Lisa thought Pierre was sufficiently buzzed, he asked Pierre to quit Hunt's group and
Of
work
course.
for him again.
Gladly. Of course
I
I
like
would.
this. I like what's happening
This is
here.
great.
This is good.
And I'm glad we can bury the hatchet as far as all the other whiskey stuff goes.
No, they're still paying for that.
Well, that's cool. Guys, there's more whiskey now? I don't really care about the problems I'm causing in the future. Did I ever tell you about the time I threw my wife and family into the woods?
No.
Yeah, it's really cool. It was a good move.
Okay. Well, actually, we don't want to do this.
I had sex with a fish man.
Okay. Mr. Lisa also brought up Pierre's whiskey debt and threatened to forcibly carry Pierre off in payment for it.
So, wait. he
Now,
gets him
remember,
the-
we mentioned that he doesn't like the debt coming up in conversation.
Yes. So, but wait. So he gets him on the boat.
First, he says, gets him drunk. And
I want
says-
you to work for
and
me.
he says no.
Loads him up with
and then he's
whiskey.
like, fuck you. You owe me money.
Yeah.
You have to work for me.
Okay. So this job offer is turning.
It's not great.
Changing.
So they started arguing, and then Pierre punched Mr. Lisa in the face.
Good. This ought to be fine.
Now, Lisa had wanted the two parties to travel together, but this commotion caused problems, and so Hunt moved on without him. And Lisa wanted them to travel together because they're going through dangerous.
Moved out
Sioux.
without Lisa, but he took Pierre.
No, Pierre comes back to Mr. Hunt.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And
And
he
then
he
Lisa
wants
goes off on his own.
and Hunt wants Lisa and Hunt's groups to travel together because, or Lisa doesn't.
Lisa wants that.
Yeah,
Hunt
because
doesn't.
They're going through dangerous territory.
Right,
And he's like,
so
the
he's
more
like-
of us, the better.
Yeah,
But Hunt's
strength
like,
in numbers.
fuck off.
Right, okay.
You punch my boy.
Right.
You punch my boy.
Yeah.
Mr. Hunt's party had 82 horses, most of which were packed with goods, beaver traps, ammunition, cornmeal, and other necessities.
Sure.
Each of Astor's partners had a horse. One was designated to Pierre to carry his luggage and 2 children. Marie walked on foot like most of the men.
Yeah, and it's cool too because she's pregnant.
And all the dudes now super respect her, like that she's been out there for a while.
Right.
So Marie was now close to having the baby, and she was also taking care of 2 kids, 2 and 5 years old.
And one grown kid.
No, just 2 and 5.
No, her husband.
Oh, and then the younger one she had to carry on her back, so
Great.
she's carrying a 2-year-old.
Great. And what's Pierre doing? Carrying whiskey?
He's got the gun and then I guess a bottle, yeah.
Sure.
And a horn.
Great. Oh, good.
Snow came. It was more than knee deep, and after walking all day, they realized they had only traveled 4 miles. They were now desperate for food and had to kill and eat a horse.
Okay, sure.
On December 29th, They walked 21 miles through a valley, dealing with rain and snow, and they had to cross an icy stream twice. This is the day, Marie.
Twice?
Yeah, going back and forth.
Oh.
Streams just aren't like a line.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And this is the day Marie went into labor.
Oh, perfect. An ice birth.
Oh my God.
Most people go for the water one, but have you seen a child come out and go into
so
ice right away?
great.
Perfect.
They love it.
You think they're blue when they come out?
Quote, Pierre treated the matter as an ordinary occurrence and no need to cause delay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fine.
She's having a baby.
It'll slide most of the way.
He remained by his wife in the camp with his other children and his horse and promised to soon rejoin the main group.
We won't be 5-10 minutes tops. She better be good at this. I'll jump on it if it's taking a while.
So the group leaves them.
Sure.
This is again one of those things. I'm like, you couldn't wait for the lady to have a baby?
No. I mean, well, look, these things can take hours.
So the next morning, the Dorion family rejoined the party with a new baby.
Hey!
Hi, guys. We got this screaming thing.
She's fine, too.
Quote, the mother looked as unconcerned as if nothing had happened to her. So easy is her nature in the wilderness when free from the enfeebling refinements of luxury. So
Sure.
she's just digging it. Like she had a baby. She's cruising.
Right.
Not at all like she's like quiet because she wants to fucking kill her husband.
Right. No, she's excited for the new chapter of having another mouth to feed on this journey.
What a great time to be starving and killing horses.
It's
when
just,
you have a baby.
it's cool to have another horse hole around.
Yeah, it really is. Huntsman asked for permission to celebrate the birth, and he gave it, and they had a banquet of dog's meat and horse.
And maybe a little whiskey.
I don't know if they have whiskey at this point.
No. It's a shame.
The next day, they moved on and kept the pace for for days. On the 8th day, the newborn baby died.
Oh, God. I mean, it's not surprising.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but right, of course. That's why she was mad in the first fucking
Why
place.
won't she chew the horse?
I mean,
At what age could you chew horse?
when you're killing dogs and horses to eat them, that's not the
Yeah.
time to be like, we should have as a baby
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
This is baby time.
Yeah.
They made it to Fort Astoria on February 15th, 1812. Quote, a shout of joy burst from each canoe at the long-wished-for sight. All hands poured from the settlement to receive and welcome them. It had been an 11-month journey from St. Louis.
Jesus Christ. Good God.
The Canadian...
I mean, really, imagine a year of your life.
I don't like to travel coach. Like, coach is a bummer.
Imagine a year of your life.
Greyhound?
I mean,
Fucking
imagine.
Greyhound.
Let me tell you, how about this? Imagine taking a Greyhound for 12 days. Seriously. Imagine being on a. Could you do it?
No.
Could you do it?
No.
And she had a baby in her and was walking through snow and ice for 11 months.
And kept her other kids alive.
And we couldn't go on a Greyhound.
No
I think
way.
I could. You have rich tastes.
I could not go on a Greyhound.
You're too affluent.
You
Got rich. You're too hoity-toity. You live that country club life.
I really do.
Yeah. You love that gated community life.
Oh my God.
I'm out there with the
I
people.
just get in my Range Rover and
Yeah.
I drive around on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. This is mine.
The Canadian voyageurs went crazy to see their friends. Quote, it was almost ludicrous to behold these comrades hugging and kissing each other on the river bank.
Uh-huh.
They celebrated the entire day at the fort. They shot guns and had a feast of fish, beaver, venison, and dog meat. You don't have to eat the dog meat now.
Hey, come on.
You don't have to eat the dog meat.
Come on. I'll tell you what, I've got a bit of a taste for dog. Am I the only one? I love a bit of retriever.
Rum was issued to the men.
Oh, rum was issued?
Yep.
Gentlemen, I'm issuing rum.
The night ended with a grand dance by the Canadian voyageurs, quote, as usual.
Yes, of course. Right.
But things would not go well at the fort. By summer of 1813, Astor decided to give up on the trading post because 61 men had died working
That's
at
a
the post.
pretty-
That's a
chunk.
That's a lot of men.
It's a good amount.
He sold the Pacific Fur Company. At that point, Marie and Pierre joined up with a 9-man beaver hunting party that worked for a different fur company.
Okay.
They built a trading post near the mouth of Idaho's Boise River and several hunting and trapping camps. In the middle of August 1814, they camped near the Great Snake River, where there were a lot of beavers. Got to go where the beavers are.
It's a good
I've
thing to
always
call
said
it the
that.
Great Snake River.
Yeah.
And it's full of beavers.
We could have called it the Great Beaver River, but
Would've made a little
also
sense.
might be great snakes there.
Sure.
A member of the party, Mr. Reed, built a house to live in for the winter.
Okay, I
So
like
they're
Mr.
fucking-
Reed's style.
Yeah, he's fucking going
the
big.
only guy who's like, why do we have a house?
Yeah, we got
Probably
a
gonna
tree.
help.
We got a lot of things to build a house with.
I don't know. I was thinking of burying myself in her clothes.
Nearby tribes were nice, but when strange tribes passed by, not as great, not as friendly. They always asked Mr. Reed for guns and bullets. Once one shot a horse with an arrow and stole a canoe.
Interesting
Not a-
move.
not a great
the
guy.
horse, not necessarily part of the
Horse is like,
caper.
I am just here.
I have no association to the canoe.
So Mr. Reed built another house farther up the river, was more essential location for the hunters. So now there's 2 houses out there.
Sure.
Late one night in January, a friendly Native American came running to the house and said some men from the Dog Rib tribe had burnt the first house and were headed their way singing a war song.
Okay.
So that's not
the
great.
best news.
That's not...
not the best update.
You sure it was a war song or a baby lullaby?
No, they were pretty clear. They burned that house, and that was all war. Very specific, too.
It wasn't like top 10 stuff? It
no.
wasn't like
No, this is new stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was low, right?
Yeah, of course, right. Yeah.
Aaron, what's the joke? Marie took her 2 kids, got on a horse, and went to find Pierre, who was out trapping at the time.
Okay.
But it was night. She got lost.
Oh, dear.
The next day, a storm came, so she sheltered in place.
Jesus.
The day after that, she set out again. And she saw smoke rising in the direction she was heading.
Oh, dear.
So she hid again, thinking
No.
it might be the Dog Rib tribe.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking.
Right, so she waits a day, and now she's waited 2 days.
She's gonna
she
eat
starts
this horse.
moving again the next day. As she came, why do you have to go there? She might not eat the horse.
She's gonna eat the
This is our hero. As she came close to the hut where Pierre had been hunting, a man staggered out. Stagger's never good.
It
People
could be Pierre.
staggering. He approaches her. It's one of the Canadian hunting voyagers. He was wounded and faint from a loss of blood. He told Marie that Pierre and the other 2 trappers had been robbed and murdered that morning. So Pierre's gone.
Is that true?
We lost the wife beater.
He is for sure?
He's dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Marie put the wounded hunter on the horse and ran into the forest, heading back to Mr. Reed's house.
Jesus Christ.
But the hunter couldn't handle the rough ride on the horse, and he fell twice.
Oh, that fall.
Fuck
By
this
the way,
guy.
not fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy.
but
Stay on the
that's-
fucking horse.
You're dying. That fall, though, that first fall, you're like, oh, the second one, you're like, I think this
Okay,
might be
yeah,
it.
let's just do it.
I think this is the Lord's way of saying you're not ready for ponies.
So Marie took him off, and they camped for the day, and then he died that night. She put her kids on the horse, and they headed out. Much better.
Yes.
Get the kids on the horse.
Sure.
She made it to Mr. Reed's house. Quote, Mr. Reed and the men were all murdered, scalped, and cut to pieces. Cut to pieces is kind of fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Desolation and horror stared me in the face. I turned from the shocking sight in agony and despair, took to the woods with my children and horse, and passed the cold and lonely night without food or fire.
Probably a good feeling.
Marie didn't know what to do next. It's an awkward time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been there. It's just weird.
Yeah.
The snow was deep. It was very cold. They had no food. To try to make the long journey to safety would be certain death. She was not about to let her children starve and realized she would have to go into the house to look for food.
Okay.
She knew there was a stock of salted fish, but didn't. This is the next house.
Okay.
But didn't know if the Dog Rib men had taken it. Also, there could be one waiting in the house for more hunters to return. The next morning, she wrapped her kids in her robe.
Okay.
And tied up the horse and left them and went to some ground above the house to watch and see if anything was moving.
Okay. Smart.
She saw nothing. So she went back to her kids, who were now almost frozen. Hi.
Yeah.
She had no choice but to make a fire to warm them, even though it was dangerous. After they were warm, she rolled them up in the robe again and headed for the house.
Good God.
She found plenty of fish. She took as much as she could carry and headed back to the kids. They were almost frozen again. She started another fire, and then they ate the fish. The next day, she went back to the house and got more fish. But after that, she was too overwhelmed and sat for 3 days, unable to move.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I would go full on cat. I would go cat coma in a second.
Yeah.
Finally, she realized they had to move. She packed up everything on the horse and put the kids on the top of the load and set out, leading the horse by the reins. Quote, in this sad and hopeless condition, I traveled through deep snow among the woods, rocks, and rugged paths for 9 days until I and the horse could travel no more. She picked a spot to rest for the winter.
What? She's hibernating?
Yeah, she's going into hibernation.
Wow.
That's all she can do, or else she's not going to,
That's quite a hunkering.
She killed the horse.
Of course. I mean, we all saw this coming.
I would have killed the kids, too.
Okay.
Might as well
Maybe
eat them.
no more pitching for you.
And hung its meat on a tree and smoked it for the winter. Then she built a small hut with pine branches, long grass, and moss, and packed around snow to keep it warm. She did not have an axe. She did it all with a knife.
Wow.
She and the kids stayed in the hut for 53 days.
Oh, my God.
Good times. I mean, could you imagine? Let me just say, I would rather die than be in a hut with a 3-year-old for 53 days.
But at least you have horse to eat.
The fucking
a
nonstop,
3-year-old.
just the repeating of sentences.
Oh, same story.
Oh. So it's still snowing. They start back out again. Now they got to move.
Okay.
On the second day, she became snowblind.
Oh,
And
good. I was hoping.
She'd had to stay in place without moving for 3 days.
Oh, wow.
It's a good time. Her supplies were exhausted. She got some of her sight back and started to move again. She got out of the mountains and down into the plains. She had now been walking for 15 days. They barely had eaten anything for 6 days. Once on the plain, she saw smoke some ways away, but she couldn't carry her children anymore, so she wrapped them in her robe and hid them.
Okay. These kids are like,
Used to
back
hide,
in the road, Mom?
seems like you used to hide kids a lot back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great if you could do that now. Just put them in a towel for a minute, stash them for the afternoon, go to IKEA, come out. There it is.
She then set out to reach whatever Native American camp was ahead. Quote, I was so weak that I could hardly crawl, and I had to sleep on the way. She got to the camp the next day at noon. It belonged to the Walla Walla tribe. They were very kind to her and immediately headed out to find her children. They found them and brought the kids back that night. Marie and the kids stayed there for 2 nights and then started heading down the river with some of the Walla Walla. A traveler in the area, quote, one day I was too tired to ride horseback, so I re-embarked in my canoe. About 8 o'clock, we passed a little river and saw 3 canoes, the persons in which were struggling with their paddles to overtake us. We heard a child's voice cry out in French, arrêtez, arrêtez, stop.
Yeah.
We landed ashore and saw in one of the canoes the wife and children of a man named Pierre Dorion. It was the Indians of Walla Walla who had brought her to us. He gave some presents to the Walla Walla for their help and took Marie and her children to Fort Akanagan.
It's strange that she's going to a place called I Can't Again.
It was a fur trading outpost in Washington State. They survived.
Wow.
And they started their life over. Around 1818, Marie married again to Monsignor Venier. They had a daughter, Marguerite, in 1819, but then he died right after that, and Marie married again in 1824.
She will find a winner.
To John Toupin, who was an interpreter at Fort Nez Perce. They had a son and daughter. Marie was called Madame Iowa. She lived for 10 years in the town of Kaiser near Salem, Oregon, and she died on September 3rd, 1850. The location of her grave has been lost. Her newborn, who died, was the first child with white ancestry born in Oregon.
Wow.
That's what it used to be like.
Now, imagine Hugh Glass with children.
Yeah, she's a bit of a badass.
Yeah. That is, I mean, I always think that. The will to survive, I don't know that will to survive, and maybe it's just the time. Maybe we're so spoiled now that you're just like, I can't do it. But I don't think I could do that.
I was reading about it recently, and some, quote, scholars think that women seem to survive longer in these circumstances because of their children.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
Whereas dudes are like, I'm gonna sit in the snow and
I
fuck
gotta
it.
run from whiskey. I'm running from a whiskey nightmare. Boy, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Stressing me out.
that stressed you out.
A little bit, yeah.
She made it. Everybody made it except for the baby.
Yeah.
I don't care about the dudes.
Yeah.
Pierre was a fucking dick.
Well, he got his,
Yeah, he did get his.
you know.
It just wasn't worth it. I just don't know.
What was it?
To go out and fucking kill animals and sell the fur, it just doesn't.
Well, it really is interesting because it is like, it is the root of what we deal with now, which is that we overharvest for money in the moment that is long-term foolish. It's the beginning of that stuff, where it's just sort of like, that's really what, I think we were talking about, I don't know if we were talking about this on the show or not, but like, if white people didn't get America, like, what would it be like?
It'd be fascinating to have an area that was that large, that was just living the way the indigenous people live, and you could see the difference, and you'd be like, oh, well, that works. And the other thing doesn't.
Well, even, we could shellac the white man all day. But yeah, it still is very much, it's like that, but just now on steroids.
Yeah, it's good.
It is good.
Right?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
It's a good
Good
feeling.
times coming.
It's good. All right. Well,
we sign.
whoever pelted dealt it.
We sign pelts.
Turn off the lights, Aaron.